Steelers Nation, welcome back to another episode of the Texas Steel Podcast. I'm Pierce Trexler, joined always by my boy Dre Greenstein, here to recap a Week 4 L over the Indianapolis Colts. Unfortunately, man, they started getting hot early and kind of seemed like we were always playing from behind since the clock initially started. Crazy atmosphere over there in Indy. I know within that dome, sound just bounces off everywhere, and the fans were rocking early. Obviously, didn't go pretty in the first little bit of the slate, but we were able to keep it close and keep it a game come until the final seconds of the clock. But Drake, after fresh, only 30 minutes after the game, man, how you feeling?
Well, it's a lose your voice type of game, bro. Lose your voice type of game.
Heartbreaker.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not like gonna sit here and wallow for too long because at the end of the day, we're 3-1. We almost won a game that we deserve to lose. We deserve to lose. Let's just put it that way. Had no business being in that game. I guess the only reason I'm wallowing a little bit is just because it seemed like Indy was just giving out a platter for like, here, you want to win the game? Here's another chance to win the game. Here, you want to win the game? Hey, we missed a field goal. You know, it's just like, hey, we're gonna run the ball 3 straight plays and then give you the ball right back. So, but then we responded and said, oh, you know what? Let's just botch a snap. And so that's how, it was that type of game, man. I lost my voice partially from this game. A lot of head scratching decisions from the coaching staff. I'm not gonna lie. But on the other hand, there's actually a lot of things that I was impressed about in the latter half of the game. The second half, really specifically, there's not really much to be proud about in the first half. So,
Yeah, no, most definitely. I'm kind of on the same boat. Obviously, L's suck regardless, especially ones that end an undefeated streak. Obviously, coming in 3-0, we were feeling good. Looked over this opponent, honestly, and it wasn't. Can't really determine it as a Tomlin loss or anything like that. Obviously, I think we came in fighting, and Indy's not desperate, but they were clawing this whole game. But again, a little bit to what you said earlier, man. This one hurt real bad, but I'm glad that it hurt this way instead of us just like completely crumbling under it. Like it was rewarding, as you mentioned, to see a spark in our comeback. Justin Fields, if we can just take a second, man, absolutely just that's franchise quarterback stuff right there, man. And the fact that he was able to put the team on his back, have these successful drives, obviously, of course, our Achilles heel, our kryptonite, these botch snaps need to get figured out. But that one was
preseason.
I mean, you look at that drive, we had briefly touched base. We weren't watching this game together, but you called me right before that drive, and I was like, let's just finish this thing. And, of course, I mean, everything was seeming to go our way within the last few minutes until that moment happened. And, again, as bad and as hurt as this one feels, it would have hurt even more if we just continued to get buried and not apply pressure and just feel that. It was great to go out there.
I'm a firm believer that I do not think it feels better to get blown out than it is to come back.
Not at all.
And
Not at all.
I am proud of how they rallied. I think the biggest thing is just not being able to capitalize on a game that was essentially even on your worst day, and I mean worst day.
Penalties and
that
just
game.
Everything.
I mean that game was essentially that the Colts coaching staff said, hey, "You want the game?
Yeah.
We're gonna put in Joe Flacco."
Jonathan Taylor wasn't out for the last series that we needed to stop. We thankfully got, but I mean, man, it all just comes down and stem. I guess we got a couple of talking points we want to get into. A lot of things to discuss after this one. Obviously, taking the L to Indy hurts, but definitely, as you mentioned earlier, I think there are some positives to come out and move forward as we head next week into another game. But any other key critical things you wanted to start off?
No, let's get into it. Straight into it. You want to go good or bad first?
I think we can start. Let's start with the bad just to get it and flush it out of our system. Obviously, there seemed to be quite a lot of it. I think I can just go out and start. I think the most glaring issue, in my opinion, is George Pickens and his antics. The fumble that caused
biggest,
dude. I mean, in terms of costly moments, he came back and he ended up with over 100. But seeing that moment is just these critical plays. He's holding the football like it's a piece of string, like just absolutely careless, reckless with it, and
it's
almost led to another.
It's the home run mentality. I hate. I'll be honest. Deontay had some of it where they want to make a regular routine play go for 100 yards. It's just not built for that. You saw it. I was telling you, George Pickens against Atlanta. before the second half or
Didn't wanna
first
go
half.
out of
Didn't want to
bounds.
go out of bounds. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That play. I mean, that play's only a byproduct of him just not get down.
Yes.
Take the 8 yards.
Take the positive. We had a first down. It was going to set up a first and goal, and instead he's flailing around with
running
the ball
with one arm.
And again, he had another great catch going down, but he was still flailing, running like this. Like, bro, you're not Cam Newton or whatever you're trying to be aesthetically. Like, let's take care of the football. That one was the big head scratcher.
Najee.
Another one for me I was going to bring up. Najee was just not productive. He had that one great big run at the end. But again, even coming down to the very last play of the game, get out of bounds. But then also just they had a cap on Najee today for the most part. That one run that he broke through. But again, we got Cordero Patterson was running all over their head. And then unfortunately he goes down. And then at the running back position, it's Najee and 33. I apologize. I'm drawing a blank. I mean, that's the Snoop meme. Who? But I mean, to come out and still put up the fight that we did, I was happy to see. But just so many critical issues, and Justin, that one, whenever he was dropping back 40 yards, slips and falls, and then that's another, like, we just shot ourselves time and time again.
Let's be generous. You say that was
game.
Probably was a field goal taken off by Justin, and then probably let's be generous again, a field goal taken off GP. And then, because the bot snap, right there. The bot snap, let's take a field goal there.
And then that's 9 points. That's 9 points that we should have. And it's just the way that we were so positioned out of this game. And Steelers Nation, that's where I'm just trying to connect with y'all. Like, this was a tough loss, don't get me wrong. But the way I was feeling in the first quarter, sitting like this, towel over my head, just feeling like a clown. And the way that we finished, and Muth and all these guys just rallying. Darnell, how about that? The stiff arm, the hurdle, going airborne, picking up. I thought overall, man, if we would have pulled this one out, we would have said, what a team win. I think we came to play. We just came to play a little too late. And unfortunately, letting up 14 right off the rip. I mean, defense, we talk about best in the league. This was a lackluster performance. I think they were gashing us early with the run game. We put a lid on it in the second. But why is Joe Flacco dinking and dunking, picking up 3rd and long after 3rd and long? We need to contain that stuff. And if we could have, I mean, definitely thought we had great chances of winning this ball game. But unfortunately, we fall short.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, man. Tough game for JPJ.
JPJ got abused, bro. He got abused.
Boy, tough game. I mean, I don't understand just insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. Continue the continual coverage on the fast, quick twitch receivers, putting a linebacker or one of our lengthy. I mean, just put Beanie Bishop or a quick guy on their quick guys, man. I mean, I can't tell you how many quick slants Josh Downs had to the outside or just across the middle of the field where he just beats a guy or beats Peyton Wilson across the middle. Absolutely killed us.
And he had JPJ, not to just continue to beat a dead horse, but there was that one. We had several instances for a turnover. We lost the turnover battle this game.
JPJ should have had 2 picks.
JPJ should have had 2 picks. One was, I mean, it was the first touchdown, or not the touchdown, but the one that got him right in there. I mean, he sailed this thing. It was hanging up there. Richardson had hang time floating, and JPJ just looked lost. It got behind him, but then also the one in the end zone. I mean, hits the cat in both of his hands. GP, sorry to, I mean, while we're on the concept of drops, bro, GP, right in the hands. Come on, bro. That is it's just quintessential. But again, you can beat a dead horse all you want. I think for the amount of negative that we saw out of today's game, we should not have been in the position in the fourth quarter to go out and win it. And the fact that we were, and the fact that Justin put the team, the offense, the defense on his back and just rallied, took a big hit going in for the end zone. But that's franchise quarterback stuff. I think it only solidified him. I know
the conversation's done. I don't even want to talk about it.
We're kind of mixing good and bad here, but it's just emotions are flared up right now.
I just think another thing too. I think we just got bad breaks on top of it too. That's why this game that's why it's gonna
the pass or whatever the Minka call. Are you freaking kidding me, bro?
The Minka
you
call.
Could see he eased up. I mean, if you want that to be targeting, he could have taken his head off, man. Like
he could have committed execution there. Just decided not to. I mean, that was just a clear 2 back-to-back missed sacks from Cam Hayward and I'm forgetting someone else. I mean, say what you want. Maybe it's a missed sack, but also I don't even think he got out of the pocket. He just chucked it out of bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
And there was no receiver in the vicinity.
Look, I'm not one of those NFL is rigged guys, but I was watching the replay. You see the ref grabs his hip for like 5 seconds and waits for the crowd to go, oh, and then all right, yeah, I'll throw it. Yeah. But just a clear, I mean, you have Gene's territory. You have the entire broadcast team saying, dude, he's literally slowing up, putting his hands up and lollygags onto him. But I think that
he's coming in at 25 miles an hour, man. What do you expect?
But that whole drive is the reason they got 3 points there. That drive resulted in 3 points. That's the difference between a tie game and losing by 3. I thought that drive, I mean, we just got so many bad breaks. The Minka flag, 4 third and longs converted in that drive, and 2 missed sacks.
TJ getting held day and night. I mean, what's
when I
new?
tell you this, the Colts were just, you want a chance? I mean, they're just continual chances not taken. And the botch snap, that goes without saying.
If you can just take us into that moment, I mean, it looked as if defense goes out 3 and out. We get the ball back with like over 2 minutes to go. I'm thinking, let's get ready to get to 4-0. Let's get ready to get on
ready
out
to say
here.
Justin Fields.
He's the best quarterback in the league, whatever have it. And I mean, again, this one, obvious as hell, was not Justin's fault. I mean, he was not even looking for it. Zach Frazier must have just had the miscue with the snap count or something of the sort. But Justin's looking left, hits him right in his head. Thank God we fall on it to at least give ourselves a chance. But then we follow the very next play with a screen to Najee where he picks up like 8, but then tries to battle to cut back upfield with like 30 seconds left. Like,
because he actually did get out of bounds. But the reason is that the clock kept rolling is because Najee's reluctance to just get out of bounds since he was moving backwards. Yeah. It's a do you know that rule?
Oh yeah.
Because if you're going backwards when you go out of bounds, the clock keeps rolling. Yeah. That's why they're still just head scratchers. I think. Go ahead.
Just shot ourselves in the foot way too many times, and I mean. But again, it's just crazy to have such a sloppy game, such a what felt like a one-sided game.
I'm just sick of the undiscipline. Yeah. I mean, truly, every single consequential play, when you look at the biggest plays in this game, it's either a byproduct of miscommunication, undiscipline, just stupid beating yourself. And look, I'll give the Colts credit. Like they came out they came out of the gates hot and they executed the game plan. But like to a certain degree, I think you have to accept the fact that the Steelers had more overall yards than the Colts in this game, Pierce.
Yeah, the Steelers and lost the turnover battle. Gave over possessions.
We almost, I mean, we looked, come the second half, we looked like the better team. It's just, take it, just undisciplined, and it's tough because the game was there for the taking, but.
Most definitely. And unfortunately, we did have a few people go down on this one. I know that Cordero Patterson had to go out. I think he was getting some ankle. His ankle looked at, things of the sort. But again, he was just showing some different type of explosion that Najee Harris wasn't able to provide early on. So to have that go down, I mean, we obviously
talk about that shortly, man.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it now.
Yeah, run into it.
I'm just going to say, I think that's the only thing holding up Najee from getting that contract is just because as much as he brings as a leader and a workhorse, it's just the offense in today's NFL isn't just built for Jerome Bettis type guys. Because why is it the past 2 seasons? I saw this on my feed. I got to be the one to say it, man. Why is the past 2 seasons the most explosion you see for a running back is Warren this last year and Cordell Patterson this year?
Because Najee ain't it, or he's just not bringing that element.
It's just to a certain degree. Najee can't be the majority of where the workload goes to. It's got to be someone that can hit a home run because at the end of the day, they're expecting us to run on first and second down. So they're sending 8 guys in the box, man. Najee at one point had 9 carries for 8 yards. Now, I will say where Najee can get his money is in pass protection and when Najee gets a ball in the open field, and he can actually gather up the steam
stiff arm,
to knock someone down. But the thing is, Najee's acceleration is just so slow that when you are asking him to beat a guy around the outside or hit a hole quick, it's just not happening. And I think that's where a lot of my frustration lies. Is it wasn't until this is more of a grander issue. Setting a Najee aside, I'm gonna digress into a major talking point as a whole. is that I think it's time to accept the fact that we don't necessarily have to be run, play action type team. You saw in the second half, I think like every single Steeler fan, and I sure as hell hope that the coaching staff saw that legitimately Justin Fields can win us a game through his arm. And when he needs to make a play with his legs, he can.
He can.
But it's done. I'm just at a loss for words when it's the second half. We're down by 2 scores. Justin Fields is making plays with his arm, and we have a 2nd and 10, and we run the ball.
Force a run with Najee.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't understand.
What are we doing with those play calls?
And then also the 4th and 1, which I thought he picked it up on the 3rd down, but they marked a short. We had the 4th and 1. Justin's taking it from shotgun and then just trying to roll. Like, are you get under it, dive through the center's feet, and pick up the foot that you needed or whatever? It's just definitely some head-scratching play calls here. But again, he was able to open it up, let him move down the field, and it resulted in 2 touchdowns and a quick. I mean, this was our highest scoring game that we've had this season. Unfortunately, it ended with an L, but it's like you said, with Jalen down, Cordero down, Najee, you're the pound, the bruiser. Like, you're not going to be the explosion. We need to be opening up his arm game because Pat Freiermuth came out, had a big game. I think he had 50 yards and a touchdown. GP, obviously, slow start, some antics, but picked it up down the stretch with some deep balls. Calvin Austin coming out. I mean, man, he came up big this game.
The Matrix move. Oh, my gosh. The on the punt. And I don't know how you get that type of balance, but I think at this point in the season, Pierce, I think there needs to be a larger discussion, because we can talk about Najee all we want. We can talk about a wide receiver too. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm at the point where, yes, I truly believe that Justin can win us a game with his arm. And I think that I know that at this point in the NFL, you can't win larger, significant postseason games by playing conservative like that. And I think you have the Steelers staff coming to this game pregame saying we want to start off fast, and then comes out with 2 halfback draws.
Yeah, crazy.
I mean, I just think it's so contradictory. It's so tone deaf. And obviously, I think that end of the day that comes down to coaching. I don't understand. I think at this point Justin Fields has proven his arm capabilities. Definitely. And that he's, despite that one let's just throw it in the back of our memory because that was a terrible play. I'll accept that. That missed scramble. But aside from that, these past 4 games, he's played almost impeccably.
Definitely.
And I think it's time to accept the fact that we don't need to be a run-first team. I'm just going to put it like that.
No, I mean, I would agree, especially with where we lay at the running backs. Jalen Warren, I mean, we were thinking his injury might not be as serious, but for him to be completely ruled out this game, obviously Cordero going down this game, we got one true back there in Najee. Obviously, 33 is still unproven. We'll go out and see what he can do. But with going into this Cowboys game next week, nicked up. Obviously, O-line went down too. Was it
James Daniels?
Had an injury as well. McCormick came back in, and obviously I think did enough. But with a injured O-line and running back room, I think now is the time to start trusting Justin's arm, which we saw down the stretch worked, man. I mean, we were moving the ball, getting points on the board, and unfortunately, due to insufficient snap and boneheaded play, not getting out of bounds, it resulted in the clock running out and unfortunately us losing the ball game. But again, as tough as it was, as many times as we shot ourselves in the foot, we were still in this ball game through and through, which if you would have told me in the first quarter that it would have ended that, I would have said you're crazy, because I mean, it looked like we were just getting abused early and often. But
there's still a lot of good to take away.
Definitely. And it's I guess it's good to have one of the dominoes fall early. You obviously never want to lose a game. You obviously want to come in and try to take advantage of every rep, snap, and opportunity out there, but got to get ready, got to get focused for next week. Just super deflating, super tough loss. This one was a heartbreaker for sure, especially having the ante. I was just ready to start juicing, come on here yelling, we got that, we're like that, and I still do believe that, but I just can't say that with our performance, and it didn't back it up today.
Yeah, I'll go through the moral victories. I think the most prominent one is quarterback play is not something I have to truly worry about.
Continuing to improve. He's getting better each week.
Yeah, take away that miscue with the running back and then losing the ball, subsequently taking us out of field goal range, losing that ball. But other than that, I thought Justin in the first half, I wasn't even really like concerned with Justin's play. It was more so just defense sucked.
I agree.
Bad penalties, and he wasn't given time to throw. It would genuinely in the first half, Justin wasn't even on my mind. That was the last thing in my concerns.
Yep.
In the second half, and he truly backpacked that team into keeping it close.
I mean, he put it on. He took some big
Yeah.
hits, made some big time runs, and
That's what I'm
obviously
truly
got
concerned
14
about, though.
points on himself.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I think he's taken a lot of hits.
Yes, that last one especially. I thought he could be rocked.
Yeah.
Whenever he got into the end zone, it looked like he was shaking up a little bit.
Had
He
an
went off.
absolute dot to George Pickens once again. He's making incredible plays out of the pocket, plays that truly no quarterback has really been able to make in the last 4 to 5 years. Actually, I mean, stepping aside from the moral victories for 1 second, I got to give Indianapolis some credit. T.J. Watt essentially neutralized.
Quiet, yeah.
And quite honestly,
we kept waiting. We're saying
Yeah.
it's his time. The TJ
Yeah.
time. It's just coming around. He's the closer. We were expecting to get some last splash or maybe a turnover or something of the sort, but they kept him in clamps for sure.
Not much from TJ, and it's not really to his fault. I mean, most plays he's getting doubled. Had a terrible hold that you miss on the first drive. I'll clip it. Terrible. Just getting absolutely.
It happens on a weekly basis.
I mean, weekly basis. Yeah. What can you expect? I mean, I liked how Najee ran at the end of the game. Muth has really started to just take the yards, take what's given of him, and I think Muth is
falling forward too.
Exactly.
No dancing. It's just catch, secure, pick up a few extra. Appreciate that.
No, definitely. Falling forward is definitely a good way to put it because he's just getting the 6 or 7 yards to need to set up a 2nd and 3, a 3rd and 2. Baugh's reliable. But I think one glaring thing that just continues to show itself is just a lack of separation from wide receiver too.
Yeah.
If I may, just for 1 quick second, I just don't understand the reluctance not to put Roman Wilson as an active player. He's going out there, he's catching 50-yard balls in pregame, and Tomlin's saying he's just not ready to take live snaps. Then when will he be? Are we going to sit him all season?
He said it's tough to hop on a moving train. Well, wouldn't you like to give him at least an opportunity to catch the moving train? I mean, the fact that we're sitting on him, it seems like it could be, like you said a couple episodes back, the difference between a playoff first-round exit or a playoff run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we're limited at the wide receiver 2 position, have been all season, and this was a game that we've kind of constantly been on our feet, on our toes, waiting. When is he going to get out there? When is he going to get out there? And it's been perceived with his practice participation. He's been out there each and every week for about the past week or two.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's see this guy suit up in the armor and get out there. But obviously glaring issue. I think Pat stepped up and did a few things on offense. Calvin Austin had a couple of big plays on offense as well. Van Jefferson picking up a nice 3rd down, but unfortunately,
a little too late.
Yeah, not enough, and the clock was our biggest issue. But it is, I know, as much as it sucks to sit here and blow a game like that. Not that we blew it. I mean, we were trailing the whole time, but the fight, the resilience, definitely leaves a silver lining for me to say that we can go out there and continue to compete with early on adversity. I mean, to be down 17-0, it's about time. I remember the way it started, it made me feel like the Patriots Thursday night game last year. We go down 21-0 in the first quarter, whatever it was. I was getting ready to turn off the TV, go take the pup for a lap. Obviously, I wasn't going to ever get to that point, but whenever we were just able to slowly chisel away and chisel back, I liked that. And if it weren't for a botch snap, if coulda, woulda, shoulda, didn't, but I like to see the promise and the growth already when facing some early adversity.
Yeah. You're totally right. I think there is a silver lining. It's just, I mean, I could say it once, but I could keep on saying this. It's just nice to have a quarterback that, it's just nice to have a good quarterback, man. I think at this point, I'm entertained watching football again with with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's something I've been able to say truly deep down for a long time. Because even like you said, man, back in the day, those wins just didn't feel like wins. And in some instances, that like I'll take this experience, learning and knowing that there's a future, rather than just knowing that
seeing a light.
Yeah, winning in vain. Yeah. Knowing that that's not going to amount to anything. So, just nice to know. I think really for me, just moving forward, it just comes down to the bigger picture is we don't need to be this conservative team. I think it's shown that we can be the aggressor through the air, and I think that'll be the big theme moving forward in this season, man. Is is that Justin Fields can truly win this game with his arm. Don't want to make it solely a pass first team, but it can truly be an even split. But we need to be healthy, and we need to get guys back. Jalen Warren, Cordell Patterson, we need him.
Jalen Warren's the dynamic piece on offense that we're just starved for right now, it feels like. I mean, we truthfully haven't been able to see him all season. Even in his Atlanta and Denver snaps, he was very limited with there. Definitely got to be something lingering with that hamstring, but get back on the field ASAP. Roman Wilson, as you mentioned earlier, we need you back out here because, again, I feel like we're in these positions to be able to close out games, and our performance here, yes, it was tough and deflating, but again, I still see lots of promise moving forward. Just, man, this one hurt, especially getting all the juices back into it. It's like, again, I would much rather feel this. It feels very similar to Ben's final season, the comeback against Minnesota, where we almost pulled it out. Muth dropped the final tutty, but unfortunately, it just didn't work our way today. As we get going and ready, heading into next week, we will be heading out to that game. Hopefully, we can flush this out of our system quick.
Prime time.
Get our eyes set, ready for next Sunday. First primetime game of the season. Let's go defend the crib against the Dallas Cowboys. Obviously, we're going to have a preview getting ready to show everything with that one. But any last closing remarks as we go out to the Colts? Actually, I got one. Indy fans, I just apologize. I mean, we were saying we were going to come in here. It should be overlooking this opponent, and obviously you guys came to play. Defense was hard hitting in the beginning, and they wanted it more than we did. Obviously, I think we turned that narrative a little bit in the second half, but they closed it out when the clock hit 0. So apologies on the takes, and you guys had us today for sure.
My one takeaway is live and learn, man. But as your bro G would say, man, actually learn from this game, man. Because really the difference between us and winning and losing this game is just discipline and fine-tuning these shoot yourself in the foot mistakes. If you clean that up, I genuinely think we have a very, very, very good football team.
And I think we still do. This doesn't change my tone. And thinking back, I know that we predicted last week we would get this job done here with a victory, but I think if we look back to our original season predictions when we had the schedule laid out in front of us, I think we said 3-0, and this was the first game that we fumbled. So truly, if we're back on that, I guess we're staying true in that regard. But got to suit up, got to get ready, wipe this taste out of our mouth, and get ready for hosting the Cowboys here in about 7 days now. So let's get dialed in for that. We're going to have a preview coming y'all's way shortly for that one. Anything else?
We'll see you in Pittsburgh next week.
Hey, until next time, Steelers Nation, keep that chin up. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.